from WrestleZone, and then I'm going to follow with a write-in question from Kenny McIntosh from Inside the Ropes. Bill, you're up.
Bill, you're muted.
There we go. Hey, how you guys doing today?
Good. How are you, bud?
Not too bad. So I kind of wanted to touch on this comment Shaq made in an interview. He said that he expects this match to top all other celebrity matches in the past, and Pat McAfee kind of chimed in and said, no, it won't. But I wanted your take because you already have experience in that area. You faced Stephen Amell before. Is there any added pressure just facing a non-wrestler in general? Is there, like, do you pay attention to comments like that where you try to raise the bar, so to speak?
Well, I think, I didn't see this particular comment, especially from Pat, which is super bizarre because just bizarre because I'm pretty sure Pat's trying to get a job at AEW like every other day, but that's another conversation. I like that Shaq made that comment. I stand by that comment myself. I'd make the same one because you have to continue to raise the bar, and you can't do. There's a lot of old veteran wrestlers who have these opinions on how you're supposed to do a celebrity match. My opinion is this: you have to wrestle. If you're showing up for a wrestling match, you have to wrestle. It can't be, oh, they're not from our world, they shouldn't be able to lock up. None of that. Shaq trained. I never trained with him, but he trained for this. So I anticipate he's going to know his way around the ring to a degree. Now, he doesn't have the experience that I have for sure, but if he did train, and we're talking about a multiple-time world champion in the NBA, we're talking about a former MVP, that athleticism is once-in-a-lifetime athleticism, which is where I would be confident in saying, hopefully it is the best celebrity match of all time. Because if he did train and he is the man we know that is Shaq, then by all means, I hope we can set a new standard and raise that bar and not only set a new standard, but perhaps give a different outlook on what a celebrity or crossover type match should be.
Thanks, Cody. Okay, I'm gonna read a question from Kenny McIntosh from Inside the Ropes, and then I'd like to ask Ed Robinson from SiriusXM to be ready. So from Kenny McIntosh, with the story from Wrestling Observer that NXT will be moving to Tuesday nights, can you talk about the strategy you guys have had from the start and focusing on what you guys are doing and not reacting to the other show? And how excited you are at the prospect that people might not have to choose a show anymore and have AEW as the sole destination on TV for Wednesday nights?
I obviously anticipate this question to a degree. If that's the case, if we're no longer going to be opposed on Wednesday nights, I'm sure we'll come up with some sort of, wonderful statement. I mean, what could I say? Congratulations to NXT on a successful move to Tuesday nights. The real winners are the fans who can watch NXT and Dynamite live every week, as this is a marathon, not a one-night sprint. I could say that, but I don't want to be sassy or a jerk because I think them moving, perhaps something else will end up on Wednesdays. And not only that, AEW Dark is on Tuesdays, so AEW Dark would potentially be opposed. That's why we can't get into a matter of being reactionary. We just have to put out the best show. We really do. And if they want to beat us, they have to put out a better show. It's honest competition. Yeah, there's digs, and they're fun, and they're lighthearted. Believe me, all the locker rooms tend to love each other. It's more the management that is pointed at one another. And even that, there's, a friendly relationship. Tony's a different type of management person, a different type of executive. I would love us to be alone on Wednesday nights, but I'm prepared for there to be something else in that slot. So we'll see.
Thanks, Cody. Okay, Ed Robinson from SiriusXM, you're next, and following Ed will be Garrett Martin from Pace Magazine. Ed?
Cody, happy to be on the call today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to be honest. I broke my phone yesterday, and it was flashing green at me as I was answering a very, very good question last. So I thought I was going to lose all of you, but I did not. So if I do lose all you, we got somebody in here to back me up, just so you know. So I'm good. How are you?
Always good to have a backup. Good. While we're on the subject of other promotions, with the announcement that the NWA will be relaunching later this month with a pay-per-view and the return of its weekly show, what will this mean moving forward for the working relationship between AEW and Billy Corgan? Will this lead to more crossover down the line, more of a symbiosis between Dynamite and on Power?
It could. It absolutely could. Tony really is, as he's dubbed himself, the Forbidden Door. If you think it's not an area where we can tread into, he finds a way to tread there and do it peacefully and coexist well. I definitely think we'll see more cross-promotion potentially with the NWA or with Impact or with New Japan or AAA or a myriad of companies. It takes trust and it takes time, and when we bring people in, we always try to treat them better than we treat our own almost when it comes to having our guest wrestlers, our guest luminaries, our guest bookers and promoters, things of that nature. So I'm glad to see NWA still moving, Billy's still moving forward with the project, and I'm sure you'll probably see a little bit of crossover, a little bit of fun crossover.
All right. Thanks, Cody. Okay, Garrett Martin from Pace Magazine, you are next, and following Garrett will be Tim Battle from iHeartRadio. Garrett?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you, my friend.
Oh, cool. Hey, I couldn't hear you. So, yeah, quick question. You've got a new show coming out in a couple weeks, AEW Evolution. How is this going to be different from Dark or Dynamite? Thanks.
I would want people to tune in for the first AEW Elevation, and Paul White joining us on commentary, first time for him really in his career as an analyst and broadcast journalist, as Heenan used to put it. I think, to give you a little spoiler potentially on AEW Elevation, again, I want everyone to watch and see. It's going to be similar to Dark, but there should be more of a focus on potentially individuals, part of our roster. And Tony Schiavone is the one who is spearheading that. I think you're going to see some one-to-one pieces, some sit-down interviews. I think you're going to see a little bit more of a character insights, not unlike you see with American Ninja Warrior or even my other show on TBS, Go Big Show, where we learn a lot more, hopefully, about why these wrestlers are stepping into the ring, why these men and women are competing, what this means to them, and their place in AEW. So I think that and a few other items, of course, the biggest item being Paul White, will separate AEW Dark Elevation from its predecessor, AEW Dark.
Thanks, Cody. Okay, next up is Tim Battle from iHeartRadio, and following Tim will be Sean Layless from CBR. Tim?
Yeah. Hey, Cody. So, there's a lot of buzz around your match tonight. Some might say that this would be a pay-per-view type of match. Do you think the match loses a little bit of edge being on Dynamite instead of the pay-per-view on Sunday? And then also, how hard was it to convince Tully to get back in the ring tonight?
Well, I would say the FTR boys, I don't know how much convincing they actually had to do. Tully always got that wild look in his eye that I wish so many other people had in terms of he wants it. I don't think it was a difficult conversation. I think we've got a few surprises here for Tully tonight, as we are very excited, and it's not lost on me what it means, him returning to the ring. As far as Shaq, myself, Jade, and Red Velvet in this tag, I think it fits just great on Dynamite. We've actually talked about it on the call before, whereas the economics of the industry are much different now. The pay-per-view and the streaming and everything to that nature, there's a great deal of opportunity there, but the television money is your bottom line sometimes, and providing the absolute best content for Dynamite and not doing a really carny, let's stretch it that wrestling has done in the past. So I'm excited that it's on Dynamite and it's live, and that it's not only live and on Dynamite, but it's kicking off the show, it being the very first thing. It just makes for a great show. And actually, to extrapolate a little bit on this, one discovery I think we've made, and Tony Khan seems to be really keen on it, and I love that, is that our go-home to pay-per-views might always end up in some way being themed. They're always going to have a heavy hitter of a match on them because they shouldn't be a throwaway. A lot of rivalries, stories, and angles, if you will. Sometimes the wagon is already in the barn and you run a VTR and, hey, say check out the pay-per-view. But for AEW, we still want that go-home show to not only be significant but newsworthy. And we're learning that as we're finding our own identity. So that will be exciting moving forward.
Thanks, Cody. Sean Laylis from CBR is next, and Sean will be followed by Cassidy Haynes from Body Slam. Sean?
Hey, Cody, congratulations on the upcoming child. It's going to make you a different person.
Oh, thank you.
My son, he's 11. He became a wrestling fan because he saw you, your brother, and your dad in a Scooby-Doo movie. With Shaquille O'Neal being on the pay-per-view this weekend, with Snoop Dogg coming on, I assume you're probably going to help Stephen Amell promote Hills when it starts up. What is AEW's stance when it comes to crossing over with non-wrestling to bring in fans who might not have watched it before, or maybe bring back fans who used to watch in the past using the crossovers?
Well, I love that you enjoyed that Scooby movie, and it's actually funny to me. That is the last thing we worked on as a family, and I've actually never seen the movie myself, but the fact that we did the voiceover work for it with Dusty and Dustin and myself, I'm glad it resonated. For me, I've really taken it upon myself I want to grow our audience, and I know we have the best bell-to-bell wrestling. We have a guy like Pac here. So just a guy like Pac guarantees me that we have the best bell-to-bell wrestling. But I need people to watch it. I need them, if they come for Shaq, maybe they'll stay for somebody like Pac. I keep using him as an example just because I'm a big fan of his work. But I definitely think you will see more crossover, and you'll see crossover done in a respectful way. Like I said, Shaq trained. You mentioned Stephen Amell. Well, he also trained because that's the only way I would insist on doing anything. That to me is important. You can only bring in people for when it comes to a crossover that respect your business. Snoop Dogg, nobody respects wrestling more than Snoop Dogg and has a love for it. You don't need to chase Hollywood A-list and B-list if they're not into this. And Shaquille O'Neal is somebody who's very into wrestling and knows a lot about it. You know, grew up watching Leroy Brown and JYD, and he has a lot of opinions and things to say about them, and as a fan. And again, like I said, he trained. So yes, you will see more crossover. And my goal here is always to grow our show because I want to grow more fans. I want to make more fans happy. You will see it, but it will always be done in a disciplined way. We want people who love our sport and love our form of entertainment because they make for the best guests.
Thank you, Coach.